The wheels of the scrap cart screeched across the uneven pavement, echoing down the quiet morning street. Harun Malik hunched his shoulders, adjusting the frayed shawl around his neck as he pushed the cart forward. The disguise clung to him like a second skin, one he hoped no one would peel back today. His expensive cologne had been replaced with the smell of machine oil and rust, his tailored suits traded for a faded vest and torn slippers. Even his posture had changed, slightly bent, slower, purposeful. He didn't want to be recognized. Not today. He stopped at the corner near a small blue gate, the one he had been told belonged to his daughter's fiancé. He exhaled, preparing himself. This was the first time he would see the young man outside the rosy descriptions his daughter had given. He's hardworking, Abu, he's sincere, he's humble. But Harun had heard all that before, from people who later betrayed, used, or disappointed him. So he chose to verify the truth on his own terms. The gate opened with a soft metallic groan. Ahmed stepped out, one hand holding a stack of books, the other fastening his old, worn-out shoelaces. His shirt was neatly tucked but visibly faded, and his bag had a loose strap held together with safety pins. Yet his face, tired though it was, held an earnestness that surprised Harun. This wasn't a boy living carelessly, this was someone fighting quietly against life's weight. Ahmed glanced at the sky, muttered a short prayer under his breath, and started walking briskly toward the bus stop. Harun followed at a distance, pretending to search bins for scraps whenever Ahmed turned his head. The morning sun was rising, casting long shadows that danced across the road. At the bus stop, an elderly woman struggled with two heavy grocery bags. Before Harun could even blink, Ahmed rushed forward. "Auntie, let me help you," he said warmly. He held her bags, guided her onto the bus, and waited until she found a seat. Only then did he take a spot at the very back, despite several empty seats near the front. Harun watched this quietly, his grip tightening on the handle of his cart. He wasn't expecting to feel anything yet, but something had shifted, something small, something hopeful. When the bus pulled away, Harun whispered to himself, maybe, just maybe, my daughter wasn't wrong about him. The mechanic shop sat wedged between a tea stall and a shuttered electronics store, its faded signboard barely hanging on by two rusty bolts. From the outside, it looked like a place that had given up long ago, but inside, life pressed on in clanks, hisses, and the steady rhythm of hard work. Harun lingered across the road, pushing his scrap cart slowly, pretending to scan trash bins while actually studying the young man he had come to judge. Ahmed was hunched over the open hood of an old Suzuki, sleeves rolled up, grease smeared across his arms like war paint. Sweat slid down the side of his face, but he didn't pause, didn't grumble, didn't rush. He worked with focus, with intent, like someone who understood that every bolt tightened was one step closer to paying rent, to buying groceries, to building a life. "Ahmed, what are you doing?" the workshop manager barked from the office doorway. "I told you to handle the brake job first." Ahmed looked up, wiping his forehead with the back of his wrist. "Sir, I'm almost done with this customer's car. He's been waiting since morning." You thought, the manager snapped. "Stop thinking so much and do as you're told." There it was, the disrespect, the belittling tone. Harun watched closely. Any young man might snap, argue, or at least roll his eyes. But Ahmed simply nodded and replied softly, "Gee sir," before putting away his tools and moving to the other vehicle. Harun felt his brows lift. Humility was one thing. Patience under unjust treatment was another. Minutes later, a middle-aged rickshaw driver approached the shop, worry etched onto his face. "Beta, can you just check the carburetor? I don't have much money today. Maybe you can take the rest later." The manager scowled and started to wave the man away, but Ahmed stepped forward. "Aka cha-cha, don't worry. Come, let me see." Without hesitation, he pulled out a small amount of cash from his own pocket and slipped it discreetly to the manager behind the rickshaw driver's back. "Please write it as paid," he murmured. Harun's breath caught. This wasn't for show. Ahmed didn't know anyone was watching. When the rickshaw finally sputtered back to life, the driver blessed Ahmed with teary gratitude. Ahmed simply smiled, brushing the moment off like it was nothing. From across the road, Harun felt something warm bloom inside, respect, reluctant yet undeniable. Maybe this test wouldn't end the way he had expected. The sun dipped low behind the clustered rooftops as evening settled over the neighborhood, turning the workshop's metal shutters a dull shade of orange. Ahmed locked up slowly, his movements tired but steady. He tightened the final padlock, stretched his stiff shoulders, and stepped onto the pavement with the kind of exhaustion that didn't just sit in the body, it sat in the soul. Harun followed a few paces behind, pushing his scrap cart with pretended effort. His heart was unexpectedly heavy. All day, he had observed the young man from a distance, expecting arrogance, hidden intentions, or at least the impatience of youth. Instead, he found grit, quiet sacrifice, and a strange sense of decency that reminded him of his own younger self, back when life was simpler and money was just a dream. Ahmed walked toward the small market street, heading directly to a modest bakery. Harun lingered by the entrance, pretending to collect empty boxes as he watched the exchange inside. "Buy the usual?" the baker asked with a smile. Ahmed nodded shyly. "Yes, but please, if possible, can I pay the remaining amount next week? I'm short today." The baker didn't hesitate. They clearly knew each other. "Of course. Don't worry." Ahmed accepted the small box, bread rolls and a single pastry that looked too delicate for his rough hands. He tucked it carefully into his bag as if it were something precious. Harun's curiosity sharpened. Who was the pastry for? A few steps later, Ahmed paused outside a dimly lit alley. A little girl, barefoot and holding a cracked plastic doll, sat on a doorstep waiting. When she looked up and saw Ahmed, her entire face brightened. "Buy," she chirped, running to him. Ahmed knelt and opened the pastry box like it was a treasure chest. "For you, Aisha. Don't tell your mother, she'll scold me." The girl squealed softly and took it with both hands, treating it as if it were a feast. Ahmed ruffled her hair before handing her mother the bread rolls with a gentle smile. "Baji, I know things are tough right now. It's not much, but, please take it." Aisha's mother's eyes softened. "Allah reward you, Beta." From the shadows, Harun felt something twist inside him, a mixture of pride and shame. Pride that this humble, struggling man still found ways to give. Shame that he himself had become so suspicious, so hardened by wealth and loss that he had forgotten what simple kindness looked like. As Ahmed walked away, unaware he was being followed, Harun murmured under his breath, "This boy, he gives even when life gives him nothing." The test was no longer about approval. It was becoming personal. Night had fully settled over the city by the time Ahmed reached his small, dimly lit street. The lamps flickered, weakly, casting long shadows that swayed with each passing breeze. Harun followed a few steps behind, the scrap cart now feeling heavier than it truly was, weighed down by everything he had witnessed that day. He had set out to expose flaws, to find greed, selfishness, or hidden motives. Instead, he had found a young man carrying burdens too big for his age, yet still choosing gentleness, generosity, and dignity. The disguise he wore suddenly felt uncomfortable, almost shameful. But he continued, because the final part of his test was yet to begin. Ahmed stopped near his gate and reached for his keys. That's when Harun spoke, his voice hoarse and wavering intentionally. "Beta, do you have a glass of water? I've been walking all day." He clutched the cart for effect, but he didn't need to. His exhaustion tonight was real, emotionally, not physically. Ahmed turned instantly. "Of course, Baba, come inside." Harun stepped into the modest home. The small living room held mismatched furniture, a single ceiling fan clicking with each rotation, and textbooks stacked on a wobbly table. No luxuries, no pretenses, just a life built on honest struggle. Ahmed returned with a glass of water and a clean towel. "Here, please sit, I'll get you something to eat." Harun froze. He didn't expect more than water. No, Beta. Water is enough." But Ahmed gently insisted. Within minutes, he placed a plate of roti and leftover lentils on the table. "I know it's simple, but you've been working all day. You shouldn't sleep hungry." Harun stared at the food. A strange sting pressed behind his eyes. He, a billionaire who had tasted the world's finest meals, was being offered the last of this boy's dinner without hesitation. "Why are you so kind to a stranger?" Harun whispered, unable to contain the question. Ahmed smiled, tired yet sincere. "Because someday, Baba, someone might need to be kind to me too." Those words pierced deeper than anything Harun had heard in years. The sincerity in them, the humility, they were undeniable. As Ahmed stepped away to fetch more water, Harun looked around the room. The cracked walls, the flickering bulb, the stack of bills tucked beneath a paperweight, and for the first time, he understood something. His daughter's heart had chosen not a rich man, not a perfect man, but a good one. When Ahmed returned, Harun's disguise suddenly felt like a betrayal. He swallowed hard. Tomorrow the truth would come out. And everything would change.